Hi, so this is a lesson on left-hand technique, and in particular the pinky finger. So a YouTube viewer wrote in and was asking, how can I keep my pinky finger from, flying away from the hand all the time, trying to escape essentially. Um, and so what I'll do is I'll go through a couple of ideas connected to relaxing that pinky finger and keeping it aligned. And then I'll also talk to you a little bit about how everyone has some oddities in their technique as well, and that you have to sometimes just continue working on it and not let it ruin your experience in any way. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is using progressive method books. So for example, Ricardo Isanola's book is really great. It's very progressive, his technique book. It's very progressive, starts from easy exercises, goes to more difficult ones. It's quite an intense book though. My PDF ebook that you can download off thisisclassicalguitar.com, it's called 20 Favorite Exercises. And the 20 favorite exercises of mine that are ordered in a progressive manner, meaning that it starts off really easy and then it gets more and more difficult as you progress through the exercises. Why is this important? Well, I'll tell you. Here's the first exercise from my book. It's just a four-fingered exercise for the left hand, or it's the first exercise for the left hand, that is. It's one finger per fret, right? And you might think, well, why would I want to do that? It doesn't seem very difficult. Well, what you want to make sure you do is keep the hand in a good position, right? And keep that finger aligned. So one of the things that you might want to focus on is the left hand alignment. If your hand's over like this, then you're going to have to overextend your pinky finger to reach things. I'll just get a little bit closer. Focus in here. So if your hand's like this, you're going to have to overextend your pinky all the time. I think that's what initially causes students to build up bad habits with their pinky finger. And then because of that overextension, there's tension in the finger. And then it kind of just ends up being overextended all the time. So, and there's tension in the hand, so the fingers can't relax. Because when you relax your hand, they generally do curve, and that's how the guitar is designed to function. So, this exercise of just going through one finger at a time allows you to work on this alignment issue. So bringing this knuckle in like this. So not like this and reaching out, but bringing that knuckle in so that your knuckles and your palm are aligned with the fingerboard, with the strings. And then the hand just moves that around. That should allow the pinky finger to remain curved at all times. That's connected to relaxation, right? But I think having the right hand position, the right alignment in the left hand is going to be very important. So, next thing, as you progress through exercises in my book, for example, that's the first exercise, very easy, but you work on building a foundation with your hand. So you build up a foundation of success with your technique, with a good hand position. And then, as it progresses to the next exercise, it's a little bit more difficult. So now we're moving across the fingerboard, and it's just a little bit more demanding of your left hand. But if you completed the first exercise fully, and you had a foundation in that exercise, moving to a slightly more difficult exercise shouldn't be that hard. And what you want to do is then further your foundation, building up a foundation of technique, a record of success, as I call it, in your left hand as the exercises become more difficult. So as the exercises become more difficult, you have to maintain your good hand position, and you continue to build upon your success of the first exercise. So it's very important to not go on to further exercises until you feel like the first exercise has been completed and you have a strong foundation and record of success. So there's all these great things about progressive method books. They allow you to build a foundation as you progress through more difficult material. And I think that's what lots of people are missing. The other thing is that you need to work on your posture and your guitar technique. You can go to my free lesson archive and check out some of the diagrams I have for posture. But the main thing is that you need the guitar to be in a position where when you bring your hand into the guitar, just by bending the elbow, that your hand is relaxed, and you can see my fingers are all aligned. My pinky finger isn't overextending or anything like that. So you really want to make sure that your guitar position is all set up. And probably having a good teacher is going to make this so much easier. A good teacher might suggest that, you move your right leg or your footstool over 1 inch, which could move the whole guitar over 1 inch, which could help your technique a lot, could make the guitar easier. Having a balanced shoulder, not looking over too much at the guitar so that you have tension through your neck and your shoulder that transfers into your hands, because relaxation is such a huge part of this equation, right? If you're not relaxed, fingers are going to be poking out and trying to escape from the hand. I think that that's pretty clear that progressive method books are a really good idea for building a success in this way. Now, I want to dive a little bit away from just pure technique talk and into just some kind of ideas about guitar playing. One thing I'll say is that I think that, yes, you have to remain diligent about it. You have to keep an eye on that pinky finger. I mean, that's why people with teachers generally do better, is because the teacher's constantly reminding them about what their bad habits are and constantly saying, like, you have to fix that. So for next lesson, fix that. And they might say it for months or years. And the student might progress very slowly, but eventually they just keep getting reminded. It's always on their mind, so that diligence is rewarded eventually. So that's true. But it's not all about just being diligent. You can't concentrate on your pinky finger at all times when you're working on repertoire and you're playing complicated stuff. What I will say is, if it's a real problem, I work on easier material. Work on pieces that allow you to stay a little bit focused on it so that you can kind of look at your left hand. Some other things I'll say is memorize your music. If you have bad technique problems, memorizing your music will allow you to really keep an eye on your hand as you progress through material. If you're reading music all the time, you could be doing wacky things with your left hand and not knowing it even because you're not looking over there. So memorize your music. Have some good technique exercises and etudes that you memorize, that you warm up with every day, that establish and reinforce good habits in your left hand. Now, I'm going to say something next, and take it with a word of caution, though, is that I'm going to say that if you watch lots of pros play, both live or just go on YouTube and watch some of the most famous guitarists out there, some of them have wacky pinky fingers. I'm not saying that you shouldn't work on it, but I'm saying that everyone has some oddities in their technique, and we work on them. We make sure that every day we practice to improve our oddities and improve on the problems that we have in our technique. But you should realize that they exist, and people have these oddities, and although they continue to work on them, they are there. You can't let it ruin your experience or make you feel bad about your playing or bad about yourself. Practicing is part of the game. You practice every day and you work on your problems and you try to improve them. And you may never get, a picture perfect technique, and many people never will do that. And I can say there's really only a handful of guitarists out there that don't seem to have many technical problems, although they'll probably disagree and point out their own flaws. But the truth is that just work on it. Work on it every day for years if you have to, but don't let it interrupt your musical experiences. You still have to have good musical experiences and enjoy yourself. So I hope you found that lesson helpful. If you're interested in that progressive method book, it's called 20 Favorite Exercises from thisisclassicalguitar.com. You can get free sheet music there, or get some ebooks that I've published. You can also check out the free lesson archive to check out left hand position posts that have diagrams of how to hold the left hand, to give you some textbook ideas about what you might want to aim for in terms of a model for your technique. So thanks very much.